Hey folks, welcome back. So I thought about this some more in between the videos here, and I'm declaring victory, and I'm going to wrap this up. My logic being that I am at 96 victory points out of the 120 that I need. This particular week, if we were to do it, I would go after this target here, which is worth 5 victory points all by itself. And then I would take out another oil target because that's what we need to do. And this one's worth 4. So there's 9 victory points right there. Okay. I have 17 SO points. I would be getting 30 this week. The normal 28 plus the 2 because we have the Mediterranean Theater one. So I'd be getting 30. I'd have to pay 4 for chaff, but I would not buy any bombers or anything. The only risk I have is I may have to pay 6 for weather if I ever roll bad on the weather, or 8 for a recon if I ever get a recon destroyed. So I'm going to be spending 20 points in Gucci bombs. Those Gucci bombs, I think I've proven to you, are going to just do devastating effects. The flak rolls, while they are doing damage to me, I hope I'm demonstrating that I'm mitigating that very well. So that's not even becoming a factor anymore. And so that would get me 9 points closer. So that would put me to 105 out of the 120. And I still have a third week to do. And we're in October. We still have November, and then December, January, February, March, and April. Now, December, January, and February are all 2-week months. But I'm still going to get victory points. So let's not kid ourselves there. Even at 2-week months, let's say I only get 2 victory points each. That would be 4 points a week. 8 points a month. So at 8 points a month, I'm still getting 24, 30 points, you know, somewhere around there. So the victory points is not an issue. I'm going to get it. Now, the group reassignment checks, I think we got really lucky last time. Like, for example, one of them needs an 8 or a better, and, you know, if I roll bad, I will lose some groups. I literally have 2 bomber groups, Outlaw and Flak Happy, who have not leveled up or anything, but they're literally sitting there waiting to, I've already purchased them, they're waiting to replace anybody we lose. Now, I should be getting smart and taking my aces out of, since I'm showing that I can destroy a target with single-handedly with 1 bomber, I should be taking out my aces and putting these guys in so that way they can start getting some experience points. That's the one thing I probably should be doing. I should be grooming them, if you will, if you allow me to use that word. So that's definitely something I should do. The only thing, like I said, the group reassignment, and then let's say we get to the end. The Mediterranean Theater wouldn't move. The Russian Theater, you know, I'd roll, and of course that would not move. And then I would come over here to the ETO, and I just rolled a 7. I'm going to scoot that up. So I just rolled a 7, so the ETO Theater would move to here, and then all 4 of these would get destroyed. Okay? 4 squadrons gone. The factories, by the end of the 3rd week, would look like this. I would have gotten rid of the 5. I would have gotten rid of the 4. I think I would have focused on the oil targets this first month. So then we would have had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them produced. But this subtracts it by 4, so we'd only produce 8. And, you know, so it's possible more would come on, but we just destroyed 4. You see what I mean? And then we're here, and that's only a minus 12 point penalty if the game ended now, and I still got many more months to move that forward. So I'm declaring my victory and calling it quits. These video sessions, I put a lot of hours into them, and what's crazy because those guys who edit their videos put even more hours into it. I don't even edit my videos. You guys know that. But I do put a lot of gameplay hours in. I play these epically long campaigns, whereas those guys would never even consider doing something like this. And that's fine, but I do have other commitments I need to get to. So I did 2 campaigns of this, and you should have a good flavor for how different they are, the 1942 and then this one. And I hope I showed some strategies on, even with all the difficulties turned on, that you can still win. Now, I know I've seen some posts on Board Game Geek that the game's too easy. I think that once you know what you're doing, it can be a tad on the easier side. You can argue that this game could have swung differently for me if Hog Wild, for example, left early. I mean, this guy's reassignment check is an 8 or above. That's not, I mean, it's a 20% chance we're going to lose him. And yes, I'm using him to max effect, but I put all my eggs into that basket. So if I were to lose him, that would have detrimentally hurt me, especially when I didn't have all the aces I have now. So early in the game, it could have been bad. I hope I showed that the German commanders can really make a difference. That Goring was awful, right? Rodell here is wonderful to have. You know, what else do we got? Let's just take the few that we started the game without. I mean, this one would have had the V3 cannon. I mean, wouldn't that have been neat? We didn't run into that. That's at the bottom of the deck. We wouldn't have gotten him. Schmidt here is another one of those jerks. Look, 4 or higher. But he's also at the bottom of the deck. Looks like Yodel is an average guy. Another average one. This one has a nice reserve focus of -2, which we always like. This guy is actually awesome for us. This one comes out with the new U-boats. So now when U-boats come out, it's going to be the new type. You know, that's something interesting. Ooh, the ME-262. That would have been a neat one to run into. Maybe even, like, what if that was the first commander we drew? That would have been really neat. You know, he's not, you know, all out there, but he does a Sturmgruppen and the FW-190. Like, this guy is very unique there. Oh, actually, he has the same ones. So they were both right next to each other. This is the Flying Wing, the HO-229, and the Jet Bomber. That was a lot of commanders away, by the way. We're getting near the top of the deck here. There's the ME-262. He was 2 away. So we actually had a chance of getting him. And the next guy was going to be another U-boat guy if we lost our current leader. So that's that. And now you could argue that, hey, that ETO theater may never move. I would argue contraire, because I'm going to get a +3. And if I add a +3 to the ETO theater, I guarantee that even if I roll a 1, it's going to move. My thought is it's moving so well on its own that I can give this +3 to the Russian front and see what that does for me. But neither here nor there. Let's look at the other targets we could have gotten. So there was an ETO 2. Oh, look at that. The bottom 2 cards of the deck was ETO 1 and 2. No wonder we didn't see these missions. Crossbow we never saw. There's some crossbow targets. What kind of target is a crossbow? Let's go look. Why don't I see a crossbow deck? Draw 4 Operation Crossbow targets. I see UPenn, I see Naval Port. Each week roll for SO point loss due to special note hits specified on the individual V-weapon launch site target cards. What the heck is crossbow? Is that the V-weapons? Well, I will have to look that up. Yeah, I don't know what the crossbow targets are. I can see we have special HO-229 targets, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't see actual crossbow targets. So I would have to look that up. I don't even know what crossbow is. So, and there's an ETO, another transportation. Look at that modifier, holy buckets. Oh, here we go, a ball bearing factory. That's a new one. There's the naval ports. Another transportation. And oh my gosh, we had another oil campaign immediately after the one we already were doing. So, so that's what would have happened with this campaign. And yeah, I'm not trying to say I'm not having fun, because I am. But the recording part makes it take a lot longer. And today's Sunday, so the work week is starting. And that's what I mean. I have other things I got to get into. So my apologies there. I hope this was still very helpful for everybody. And I frankly don't think there's that much more stuff. The biggest thing is obviously we'd have to figure out what crossbow is. I think there's an actual campaign called, Operation Crossbow. That's what it is. It's a V1, see? The V1 flying bomb. So we'd be drawing V1 targets. V-weapon site targets, I bet, is what crossbow is. And that's this deck here. So we'd be drawing these types of targets, which we haven't seen yet, right? So look at this, lose 2 weekly. This one's under construction. Yeah, a lot of these are lose 2 weekly, because I guess, they're bombing the crap out of that. Lose 3 weekly, if undamaged, roll each week. Oh, and you have to actually roll. So you pass a roll and then you would lose. But we would still, a lot of these are going to be in France, right? Because they didn't have a lot of range. In fact, all of them are. So we would have just obliterated those. But yes, that's what crossbow is. It's a V weapon site. So we were well on our way, by the way, with our individual bomber. We were already at skilled. And if we would have done 2 more missions, which was just the rest of this month, by the end of this month, we would have been a veteran. And then we would have moved up to ace. And eventually we would have been able to add our air to ground bonus to a plane that was already not needing it. Somebody asked or made the comment that they wish there was more to the other theaters of war. Like, all we do is roll a die and it moves left or right. They wish that we did more so our missions would impact those. I agree, and I just think that that's the thing, though, where DVG games are simple games that still provide a good challenge, right? This one is already the heaviest of all of them. And if you started adding little mini games to each of these, now you're all of a sudden getting heavier, right? So I can definitely understand and appreciate why DVG stayed away from that. And I bet you if you had a conversation with Dean, he would tell you he has all kinds of ideas of how to do that, right? I think he's probably all over it. But that's not, with any game design, right, you have to make compromise and things of that nature. So I'm sure this is minimized and it's abstracted, right? That's the thing. So I do apologize because I think at the beginning of the game I mentioned how your actions can affect this. And what I mean by that is, as you know, if we destroy a target, we can, in the process of destroying target, it changes the theater, right? Modifiers, but all it's doing is changing the die roll. We're not changing it that much, So if I misled people into thinking that I was changing it more, my apologies. There was that old video game from the 80s called Red Storm Rising, which was based off the book. I think maybe Tom Clancy, I can't remember. But that video game, you really did. Like, it actually had a line of battle where, this is the territory of NATO and this is the territory of the Warsaw Pact. And that line would actually move based on, the sub completing its missions. And so if we were able to intercept a convoy, we would disrupt their supplies, which then caused the NATO to get an advantage, and then they would gain some territory, And so that's what that game was. This reminds me of it, but gaining and losing territory is just abstractly represented here and nothing more. Okay, so that's B-17 Flying Fortress Leader. Great game. Just because I make it look easier or whatever, doesn't mean that it is easy. I play these games a lot. So you're touching my bread and butter. A game like Escape Plan, which we just did, I'm struggling because I've never played that game before, or even like the D-Day games. So we had a huge, I think I did like 6 Butterfield games in a row. I did 4 D-Day games, and then Enemy Action Ardennes. So I did 5. I did Space Corps as well. So I did 6 Butterfield games in a row. Every single one of those, you were watching me record my very first playthrough of most of those games. So it was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle. Even this, I've played many times. I'm still getting some of the rules wrong. Dean had to help me, figure a few things out. Like, I didn't realize I had another whole month in each of my missions. So it makes me laugh. I hope, I know some folks are a little hard on me for it, but most of you who do watch my videos, I really appreciate it because you're not hard on me and you realize that I'm just reflecting what life is like as a solitaire gamer many times. You think you got the rules right, and then you talk to somebody and you're like, oh. So then it's like light bulbs going off in your head and you're like, oh, that's a big asterisk. I didn't really win. So that's it. These long campaigns, I really love them because, like I said, the level up mechanics are fantastic. But you can get to a point where you're running away with the game, and that's what I feel like I'm at. I'm running away with the game. So thank you for your patience there and understanding. What's next? Okay, so some folks asked me to do Spirit Island. I feel like that one's been done a lot by other YouTubers, and I don't think there's anything I can add to the occasion. And then the other thing is that I play it and I interpret cards to mean ABC, and then someone's going to tell me, no, that's not how you read that card. That card actually means XYZ. It's going to be one of those kind of games because it's primarily a game where you read a card and have to understand what it's saying. And I'm notorious for not getting the same impression of what it's saying as what it's supposed to be. So those games frustrate me. I enjoy playing it because the way I understand it fits just fine. So I'll play the game the way I understand it. It's just when I'm dealing with other people who feel the need to correct. I have the Star Trek, which is like the version of Mage Knight. It's the Star Trek version of Mage Knight. I played that twice now. I'm not saying that I have the rules perfect, but the 2 times I played it, I really enjoyed it. I know some people said that Mage Knight just can't be topped, and I do admit that Mage Knight has more to it. But the things that were simplified in Star Trek just are better for me. I like the simplification. I like the fact that it's more streamlined. I like the away missions on the planets. Again, I don't know if I'm going to do a playthrough because that one's been heavily done. And my videos, by the way, are mostly mirrored after Ricky Royal. He's been my inspiration. Of all the YouTubers I've watched and followed, I really enjoy watching his videos the most. And nobody does Mage Knight or Star Trek better than Ricky Royal. You cannot top him. And not only that, but his strategies are fantastic. I mean, after I watched him play, I got better at the game. Because he taught me you have to take wounds in the beginning to level up. And it's not a big deal because you can heal those wounds. And so he taught me not to be afraid to take wounds. Anyways, Ricky Royal is fantastic. My best moment as a YouTuber so far has been that Ricky Royal watched one of my videos and actually commented on it. So that part was gold. I know he's just a guy like me in, I believe it's England. It's not a movie star or anything like that. But for a brief moment, he was my movie star, at least on YouTube. So I do appreciate that, and that's where I modeled my videos from. I like the way he explains things. I like the way he doesn't edit all of his videos to the nth degree. He just lets you watch him play. And he does edit a little, but still. What else do I have? I have Comancheria. I haven't even punched the pieces yet. I got it as the GMT holiday sale. And so it's been sitting here for months now. Comancheria is one I do want to play. The designer himself did some videos, and I thought they were pretty good. So one of the reasons you haven't seen me do a video of it is I'm not sure I can top what he did. I mean, how can you top a designer doing a video? I know Dean Brown did a video for this, and I had the same attitude. How can I top Dean doing a video of his own game? except he actually approached me and asked me if I would be willing to do a video. So thank you, Dean, and also thank you for all your help, because I believe I understand how to play this game better because of all of his help. And then lastly, I have Where There Is Discord. I've punched the pieces, but I have yet to play it. And I do enjoy, the other game that he made. What is that? Code Word Cromwell. So Where There Is Discord, I'm eager to try. I know that particular designer, his playstyle is it's a lot of dice chucking. And it's dice chucking where I need to roll a perfect 1 or a perfect 10 or nothing happens. So I got to be in the right mood to play those games. But I still think it can be quite enjoyable. I was told through the comments that it's a very different game. So, maybe the dice mechanics might be the same, but in terms of Code Word Cromwell has a lot more variability, whereas this one's more rigid. But we'll see. I probably will record that playthrough. The problem is I've never played it ever. So I need to get prepared a little bit better than I am now. I backed on Kickstarter Brook City. And so if that's a game you've heard of before, it's apparently shipping. I don't know when I'm going to get it, but Brook City's coming. Brook City is a police game that spoofs the 1980 shows, like Hawaii Five-0, which I know is early 80s or 70s, but even, Miami Vice and stuff like that. And so you're going after bad guys and arresting them and scoring points, whatever. But Brook City's coming. There's a game called Gentes that I backed, and I really regret it because it's taking forever. I think TMG's just ignoring it right now. I don't know what's going on with that one. It's not a solitaire game. I bought it because I am in a multiplayer group who I don't get to game with as much as I would like to. But that one's coming, and off the top of my head, I know a few more are coming that I'm pretty anxious about. I backed... There's a game, the designer of Axis and Allies came up with a game, it's a new one, where the map is actually a globe. It's a circle. And I just can't remember the name of it. It's not a solitaire game, but it's pretty... it has a lot of neat little things they're trying to do with the way components work and the stacking and the battles. So I backed that. I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't have high expectations, but I think it might actually be a lot of fun. And then the other one is I play a lot of PC games. So Paradox games are like Europa Universalis, Stellaris. I don't play Crusader Kings that much. It actually bores me. But the other ones are top-notch, and I really do enjoy playing them. Hearts of Iron is another one. Anyways, Crusader Kings, the board game, which is funny because I don't play the video game much, Crusader Kings, the board game, is actually shipping. So we should be getting that soon, and that has a solitaire variant to it. It seems like it was tacked on, so I'm a little concerned, but it was enough for me to back it, so that's coming, and I guarantee you if that one arrives, I will be showing that one. I think it's an obscure game to begin with, and not a lot of people in the mainstream own it, so I don't think it's going to be covered by a lot of the big-time, video. Like, I don't know if Rolling Solo will have it, or Watch It Played, or anything like that. And it's a meaty game that has a meaty campaign, which is another reason why they don't get covered. And then the Fantasy Flight Games Lord of the Rings is coming within a couple of weeks. I will definitely be playing that. I guess I can share that one. Imperial Assault came out with a campaign a few months ago. I still haven't played that one. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff to do, and not enough time to do it, of course. Some of those games, like Imperial Assault, are just so much. My head hurts. And I'm talking solitaire. I prefer to play those with other people. Even if it's the solitaire, the co-op version of it, I still prefer to play it with other people because they can manage these 4 decks and I manage these other 4 decks, and I'm not having to manage everything myself. Gloomhaven is coming out on Steam, and it's supposed to be true to the board game. I'm actually looking forward to trying that. I've played Gloomhaven all the way to the end and unlocked just about everything. The only thing I didn't do in Gloomhaven was the puzzle where you had to read all these cryptic messages and figure it out. I'm not interested in that stuff. But Gloomhaven, for what it was, really changed the way I view my standard of gaming. Gloomhaven was so much that went right. I had my gripes with it, but there was so much of it that was right that the things that were wrong, were easy to ignore. I do admit, though, by the time we finished the campaign, which was 6 months long, and yes, I did it multiplayer. I didn't do it solo. I did start a second campaign solo. I didn't record it. By the time we finished the multiplayer campaign, I was very bored. The games started to feel monotonous, every mission. So I do give it that, but that was because there was 120 missions. That's a lot of missions. And I did start to play solitaire, and I know people don't like talking about the unlocked characters, so I won't. But let me just say that some of the unlocked characters have some really cool synergies. So my solitaire game was using characters who summon creatures. So there was multiple characters, and they all had like bonuses to all summoned creatures. And so I was using a party of 4 that were all some sort of summoning type of class. And I literally would have 9 or 10 summoned creatures moving across the map, and they would just devastate everything on the board. It was a lot of fun. It might be worth recording that. I guess I just haven't gotten the gumption to get that out yet. So anyways, Centauri Saga, I did a playthrough series. I did a couple missions. There's actually a what do you call it? A legacy campaign. I have not started the legacy campaign. It's still sitting there gloating at me. I may do that and record that so folks can be involved in that. The interesting thing is I did the Centauri Saga video series, and I think I got at most 2 comments. I'm not sure that many people even own the game, heard of the game, or even care about it. Not to say that that ever has motivated me away from doing a video series. It's just it wasn't my most popular one. The Convicted is still a solitaire game I play. The video playthrough I did, I tried to rewatch that, and that, of course, I did many years ago when I was dabbling with this video thing, and it was awful. I actually would like to do that one again, but I don't know if I will. And then Israeli Air Force Leader, I think I didn't do justice. I think I really screwed that one up too, but it's okay. That's it. Somebody asked me to show my library of games. I admit I own over 450 games. I may even be over 500. I don't count. It's a lot of games. So I can do that sometime. I never thought of it. I'm not very narcissistic about my videos. I don't like talking about me, at least not in that kind of regard. I also think that it tends to be a little gloating, because if you own all these games, you're sort of like this, I don't know, you're compensating for something. I'm not trying to compensate for something. I own a lot of games because I enjoy playing them. But I would like to actually get rid of probably 200 of my games. I just don't have anybody that's willing to take them. Or at least for a decent price, right? Because I don't want to give them away for free. And then, of course, shipping is too high. For example, I would sell my copy of Gloomhaven. I have the 2nd edition copy, and it's not even punched. It's just sitting there brand new. A few pieces were punched, but that's it. Because the copy I played was somebody else's copy. I would sell it. I would sell it for $100, which is, I think, cheap. But since the package weighs almost 20 pounds, it would cost me $50 just to ship it. And so I have to sell it to someone local, or I'm not going to sell it. I have Skies Above the Reich, or not Skies Above the Reich. I have Hitler's Reich. I don't enjoy that game. I would sell that in a heartbeat. It's getting all kinds of awards and accolades on Board Game Geek, etc. Don't like it. This War of Mine, don't like it. Would get rid of that. Indonesia, which is a splatter game, I got rid of that. There's some games that I would be very happy to trade or lose, but it is what it is. And so in the meantime, it's just going to sit there. It'd be really cool to have like a flea market for board gamers. Right now, if you go to a flea market, it's always somebody looking for some stupid like lamp or something for your home, and those people are always looking for antiques or things like that. I think it would be really cool to have a flea market that's just board games. And so if anybody's in the local Minneapolis area and hears this, get it going. I'm not that motivated. So anyways, thank you for letting me ramble there. Stay awesome. And this was B-17 Flying Fortress Leader. Like I said, it's my number 2 DVG game, Hornet Leader. I've played it so much that actually Hornet Leader is really easy for me. I win every time. This game, I guess I won both times I played this too, but this game's a lot more challenging in my opinion. I still like Hornet Leader the most because of what it does with the 3 different types of planes. But this one, I wish Hornet Leader was this heavy. That's the thing. If I could marry these two, I would be in bliss. If I could just marry the 2 of them. And then I like the feedback of if I can expand these into little mini games, I would like that too. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching.